Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you are interested to check out the Signal service, make sure you do head over to, actually I'll post the link to the Telegram group where you can have access to the signals. At the moment it is free access to the next 100 people, so if you're interested, make sure you head over and check it out. It is not going to be free forever, but it's free at the moment to celebrate the launch of the project. So if you are interested, if you're just looking for ideas, or if you're looking to follow signals, if you want to test them out, you can check out the Telegram link in the chat. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. Mata, hope you're doing good. Gold intraday sales. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Tashi, good morning, my man. Hope you are well. So, as always, guys, we'll go through the USD side of things first. I'll take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold and silver. And then, of course, we'll go through some requests. If you do have any pairs you want me to take a look at, drop it in the chat. And we'll get to it. And of course, if there's a particular time frame you want me to look at, let me know as well, and I can have a look see as well. But before we start, guys, make sure you do drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out the channel, and I do really appreciate it. But anyway, let us get to it. So heading over to the dollar. So we had, of course, CPI yesterday, and things became very interesting. Mostly interesting. We did see a bit of a break to the upside. It hasn't necessarily lit the market alight with this move. It's not a ginormous move, but some momentum's coming to the market, which is good because we've been very corrective, just slowly ascending to the upside. And I said yesterday that with the CPI, hopefully that will be like a make or break for us in terms of what price is going to do within this channel, because price could easily respect this channel, the top end of it, and see us swing back down. I said keep an eye for the break of the counter trend line. But I was favoring price to break to the upside because I do think dollar is a little bit kind of fatigued right now. It's been bearish since the start of the year. Going back to the start of 2025, around here, we've been falling since, and we are quite stretched. And looking at how price is behaving, it's very, very corrective. So I've been looking for a bit of an up move for the dollar, and I'm still looking for much more of it. And we saw one bullish candle. I'm looking for price to have a bit of relief and see some type of bullish trend, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I think the bigger move is still probably down for the dollar, so I still think long term we can still see some weakness, but maybe for a few days, maybe a couple weeks, or again, we'll have to wait and see. But for something like that, I do think we can see somewhat of an uptrend. And I'm very much interested in buying the dollar and maybe selling pound USD or selling euro USD. We'll get to those USD pairs shortly. But the opportunity I'm keeping a close eye on looks something like this. I want to see a bit more upside, then I'll be happy with some pullbacks or some longs. I'm not necessarily waiting for price to take up this high. I don't think that's, well, it would be great if price did, but I'm looking at pound USD. It looks like it's going to break structure there anyway, so I don't necessarily need the dollar to do it as well. But if it was to break structure, that would be a very strong sign that, okay, yeah, dollar is meaning business to the upside and likely will continue. But the break of the the break of the channel is more than enough for me. It kind of tells me, okay, we're probably going to continue higher now. If the market was going to form a lower high, I would expect it to be printed in by now and see some signs of continuation. But it was a strong break to the upside, and I'm looking for a pullback, a higher low, and a continuation, maybe a push to 100, big psychological level for the dollar. That could be where price is attracted to next. Looking at Euro USD, of course, we got the opposite. So strength in the dollar meant Euro did fall. And again, things are looking interesting for Euro dollar as well. We are breaking outside of this ascending channel here. So similar to the dollar, we are making a bit of a statement here. Price didn't form the higher low. We didn't break that counter trend line to the upside. And it looks like Euro dollar is starting to see a bit of a breather. And it's the same analysis for the DXY as for Euro dollar. Bullish since the start of the year. Yes, we've seen some very nice aggressive momentum at the start and most of the year anyway. But since the low here back in May, we've been very, very corrective in the way up. So I haven't really been looking to try and follow Euro dollar, to be honest, because the market looks very fatigued. It looks like it's running out of steam. And in FX, we don't typically go in one direction for too long, especially when we look very, very tired. So my interest is looking for shorts, looking for selling opportunities. And now that we've got the break of that counter of this corrective channel, this now makes me pretty bearish here on Euro dollar. Now, I'm well aware it's just one big bearish candle. Haven't really seen much momentum from it yet. So I kind of want to see price continue to push through. Then I can look for some pullbacks and some shorts. Somewhat of a head and shoulder opportunity. You got the left shoulder over there. Of course, that will now be your head. Breakthrough. This will probably be your neckline. Right shoulder. There's the opportunity. Let's see if we can find some shorts. So Euro dollar, something I'm keeping close side. It's not quite there yet. Yes, we've got the break of the channel. Maybe you might be looking to try and short the break of the channel. Not really my forte. I'm always waiting for price to pull back, create structure, then take my shorts. I want to put my stop loss above structure. That's just how I trade pretty much. Short in the break of the channel, nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just not a style of mine in terms of how I trade. But I do have a bearish bias here for Euro dollar. Strong break to the downside unless price was to recover that momentum and close strongly back above the channel. This will turn into a big fake out. Then I'll kind of rethink things. Maybe that was a fake out there. That would, of course, make me analyze again. But at the moment, I like the breakout, a lot of momentum. Let's see if we can see a bit more downside, find some pullbacks, and short Euro dollar. And my favorite USD pair right now is 100% pound USD. I really like what I'm seeing with pound USD. Very, very close to taking out these lows here. Probably will do it this afternoon, hopefully. I like the look of this bearish candle on the 4-hour chart. Nice wick to the upside, strong bearish close. Hopefully some momentum continues to the downside off the back of that. Similar to the wick we had over here. Lovely drop, of course, that was just before CPI. But yeah, bearish pound USD, and that's exactly what I've been after. Of course, we did break the counter trend line last week, so that kind of was the sign that, okay, pound USD may be looking to break and head lower. Now that we've got the kind of full breakout of that, and now that price is about to take up this low, which is very significant because this was the previous low, which gave us the previous high. So that's our most recent low. So a break of that would be a break of market structure. And of course, that means we're bearish. So pound USD to me is looking really, really good for short opportunities. As I've been saying for the past few streams, price has taken out some major highs recently. And after we did that, we've been looking very, very corrective. So the way I see it, yes, we've been bullish. Yes, we've seen a very nice uptrend, but the market's running out of steam. And in an area where these sort of situations tend to occur. When we do take up major highs, we do tend to see price run out of steam shortly afterwards and correct to the upside. Now, whether price will continue falling or will be a complete reversal, we're not too sure about that. Although I do think pound USD probably still does continue to the upside, to be honest. So I am looking at this as somewhat of a counter trend before maybe the larger trend does continue. But I'm not interested in buying pound USD anymore. I haven't been interested in buying pound USD for a while because, again, showing a lot of signs of corrective behavior, showing signs of fatigue. And again, as a swing trader, I want to be getting into the market before we've seen the bulk of the move. I don't want to be getting into the market after we've already had a lot of movement in one particular direction and the trends continued for a while. Because as a swing trader, the whole idea is that you're trying to capitalize on the swing. And if the swing's already seen most of the move, there's not much left for you. Of course, the move could always continue. You don't necessarily know when it's going to end, but I'd rather look for the opposing move where potentially I might find a bit more joy. And that's exactly what's happening with pound USD right now. So if we can pull back, I like the look of this area here, that last wick to the downside. That preferably will be my area of interest, an area where I would be happy to get short. I may have to think on my feet in terms of analyzing the pullback, seeing where we could get to. This, like I said, would be nice, but we might not hit that level, so I'll see how we operate. At the moment, we've had a very nice bearish swing, so again, I'm not really interested in shorting the market right now either. We're about to take out key lows here. Not the best time to be shorting the market, so I do want to see some relief, and upon that relief is when I look for my lower highs, where I look for my entries to continue short. But yeah, pound USD, I really like the look of this, keeping a very, very close eye on it. At the moment, 1.355 would be my area which I like to do the business at, but we'll see how things do develop. But yeah, I really like what I'm seeing with pound USD. Dollar CAD as well. Of course, another USD pair. We did see a strong push to the upside yesterday afternoon. Hasn't done too much though. So I said yesterday I'm not a big fan of dollar CAD, and today that's still very much the case. We're still very corrective on the way up. We had that double bottom, which price did a good job at, as you can see here. So price came in once, almost a second time, but I'm counting that as a double bottom. We broke to the upside out of this bullish channel, and I'm favoring a push back to the highs here. So that's the whole point, a whole plan with dollar CAD, double bottom, looking for a push back into the neckline. Since we did get that breakout last week, we've been very, very corrective, choppy, firing wicks all over the shop. So I have just been staying away from dollar CAD, not really trading in any area of significance either. So not interested with dollar CAD, and I'm looking for us to push back into resistance up at the highs there. I did say coming to the week that if you're looking to get involved with dollar CAD, either you're kind of looking for price to push back into lows, this is a healthy place for a buy, or you're looking for price to push back into resistance, that's a healthy place for a sell. Anything in here, I would stay away personally. Way too choppy, way too indecisive, difficult to find some good stop losses. We'll see how price operates, but it looks like dollar is strong at the moment, so possibly we're preferring a move to the upside at this moment in time, and then we'll see what price does at resistance, whether we'll break through or respect it. If we do end up breaking through, then I'm looking at this as a potential double bottom for maybe a reversal, and I'll be very interested in some pullbacks for some long. So we can speak upon that maybe in the next few days if that does end up happening. But for now, we've got a bit of a range. Let's see what price does at resistance, whether we break through or respect it. In terms of Aussie dollar, that one's been looking quite bearish. It looks like I'm not going to get the opportunity at the high of the range. As I've been saying, corrective behavior, and when price is corrective like this, most of the time we do end up breaking lower. Of course, not guaranteed, but most of the time we do end up breaking lower. The difficulty with this pattern is kind of understanding when that move will happen. You know, I was expecting to happen here. It didn't. It was a bit of a fake out. Price decided it wanted to continue to consolidate, correct for a few more days, couple more weeks. Of course, we still haven't got the breakout yet, so I'm still not going to necessarily confirm that just yet. But again, it's still corrective in this pattern, still behaving in this pattern. So I do expect us to still eventually break lower. It's just taking our sweet time. I said in terms of opportunities, I'm looking for a push to the high of the channel. That's really where I want to find entries, so I can at least short from the high into the low of the channel, probably take most of the profit there, then see if I can hold on to some positions for breakout. And if I see some red flags at the low, it looks like price is reversing, I can always take my profit and run. But yeah, Aussie dollar, very bearish. Again, the way price is moving, it's not a healthy trend at all. I do think we are due some relief to the downside. And of course, with the newfound USD strength, that could be happening sooner rather than later. Of course, very aggressive candle to the downside. We are pushing back into support, so we haven't done anything significant. We could still very much find support and rally again, so don't get too excited. We can see some evidence of price breaking lower, but yeah, I do expect us to continue lower. This is still the opportunity. I'll wait to see if it does set up. At the moment, not looking likely, but yeah, I don't mind, to be honest, because I think pound USD looks a lot better, so I'd rather spend my time with pound. New Zealand dollar, same situation as well, operating within a nice ascending channel. Again, the shorts were looking good about a couple of weeks ago now. At the high of the channel, we respected it. We've pushed down. We've been very corrective, and now we're still pushing down. So ever since we've had the reaction at the high, we've been talking about price getting to the low of the channel and then seeing what happens. Similar to Aussie dollar, I do think we'll break to the downside. I do think we'll break lower and see a bit of relief. We've had a very big bullish run. Price has been very corrective. Typically, when we're in this pattern, we do tend to have that bigger relief. Maybe price still wants to be bullish and we have a bigger pullback at some stage, something like that. We can look at that in a bit more detail later, at a later date. But at the moment, we are pushing to the low of the channel, so we'll see what price does here. There might be some buys here. I'm never really one to try and find buys in an ascending channel because I'm not looking to try and continue this trend. The whole point of me expecting price to break lower is because the trend is unhealthy, it's tiring, it's likely to break lower to go and collect some more buyers. So as a result, it's not a market which I want to be buying. So yeah, we might bounce from there. So I would keep an eye on that, but I wouldn't be looking to buy it necessarily. I'm expecting price to break through. So I'm just backing away from New Zealand dollar. As I said earlier last week, if price was to return back to resistance, I'll be happy to short. But at this rate, it doesn't look likely. So don't have much of an opportunity there for New Zealand dollar either. But I am bearish on the pair. As for gold, so gold, I've been keeping a close eye on this. Yeah, very, very flat. I've been not speaking so highly of the price action of gold as of late because it's just been so choppy. And I'm still very much in the same camp. I'm not a big fan of the price action for gold either. We respected resistance yesterday, had a bit of a sell-off there as well. In the afternoon, I think that was off the back of CPI as well. So I think gold is very awkward. It's a market that is very, very flat. Of course, the higher time frames, the bigger picture in a ginormous uptrend. Don't get it twisted. So naturally, I'm still looking to buy the market. Still think we can see higher prices. But I would want price to push into significant support before I do find any entries because I want to be away from the noise. I don't put my entries and my stop loss inside the noise. That's where you're leaving yourself exposed and the probability of getting wicked out is pretty high. Whereas if I get my stop loss below here, not that that's necessarily perfect, but again, I'm just in a much more of a safer place. And if I do get stopped out, I can always find re-entry in a safe place and maximize my risk to reward. And I also like the idea of a push into this area, really away from the noise. And if it does play out as well, you're positioned very, very well for a swing trade. Inside the middle of here, I think it's just way too chaotic. There might be some short-term opportunities, and that's about it. In terms of silver, I like silver. We've had some retracement. I'm keeping a very close eye on for silver. I wasn't too sure if we'll get the retest of this high here, but looks like I might be proven wrong because we are definitely not too far away from that. A little bit more downside, and we could be testing that area in no time. So keeping a close eye there for silver. I do want us to behave a little bit more correctively. We have pushed down quite forcefully, which is a slight red flag. We had a massive break to the upside. Momentum's looked very good. We've pushed down with some meaningful bearish momentum as well, but if we can become a bit more corrective, that will kind of increase the quality of the setup. And yeah, just simple break and retest. That's the idea. There's a lot of momentum right now for silver. And the plan is we've broken out of this consolidation. So we're just expecting momentum to really take charge, take control, and see price really trend. I've been looking at 40 as the next big psychological target. We are not too far away from that. So going forward with silver, looking for buys. 37.3 is my area of attention, just looking for the breaking retest essentially. Not too far away. Let's see what opportunities we can get on silver in the next coming days, at least for a push back to the swing high, of course, but I will be looking to see if I can take it higher. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD pairs mostly. Looks like we've got some dollar strength coming to the market finally. Elmi, good morning, or good afternoon, I should say. It's good morning over here, but good afternoon to you. Hope you're well. Dima, good morning. Hope you're doing good. US oil, yes, we shall take a look. Ferrogams, what is up? Hope you're well. CS Integrated, my man. Hope you're doing good. DXY currently, okay. We'll take a look at the DXY. Spot 98.2. Okay, cool. DXY staying 98.5 neutral. It stays around 98.5. No, okay. I'll go take a look at those ideas. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on the dollar. It looks like we've got the breakout, so I'm getting excited. But I will go through the dollar for you shortly. Red Butterfly, I like the name. What is up? Hope you're well. Stefan, good morning. Pound Seat Chef. Is that on the 1 hour you meant? But yeah, I will go through Pound Seat Chef. First, I'll take a look at gold intraday sells, silver intraday sells for matter. And of course, if you have any requests, drop it in the chat. And if you have a specific time frame for me, you can put it in the chat as well. But gold intraday sells and silver. So I don't really like gold intraday at all, to be honest. I haven't been a big fan of gold intraday at all. So I'll keep it short and sweet. When things are choppy like this, the idea is to keep your trade short and sweet. You don't want to stay in the market for too long. Reason being is that because of the nature of us kind of chopping around back and forth, and if you do get into a trade, the odds of price suddenly coming back against you and getting rid of all those floating profits you had is pretty high. Versus, of course, a trending market, you're expecting to get in and for the market to continue trending. So you're not expecting necessarily the price to come back against you. If it does that, maybe the trend's ending. That sort of scenario here, we're actually likely to do that. We're actually unlikely to keep falling here. So, as a trader, of course, you want to trade the likely move and not the unlikely one. So because of the conditions, you want to be short and sweet, even on the lower time frames, not overstay your welcome. Now, there's no kind of clear direction, I would say, with the 15. So that's not a good sign, really. You want to naturally kind of have a bit of a direction to play with and use to your advantage. I like the lower highs prices printing. We've got the highs over there, drop, another lower high, drop. So potentially prices starting to form some lower highs. But again, I'll keep it short and sweet. I like the consolidation we had here, which of course gave us the strong move down. There's a brief one over here we can probably look at as well. Naturally, I probably would favor the deeper pullback because of the conditions as well. When things are quite choppy, we tend to have bigger pullbacks, bigger corrections. Price wants to kind of fake people out earlier, so getting involved pullbacks a little bit later is normally the best bet. There's no momentum in the market either, so I would wait for the bigger pullback to 33.57, 33.60 we can call it. But this area could be interesting as well. I would say keep an eye in terms of how price reacts with that area. If things look good, you can have a stab there. Of course, worst case scenario, you take a loss. Maybe you can make it back or with a short from that level there. But again, I wouldn't even look to target the swing low here. Not that we can't get there, but just because of the nature of the market, there's no kind of bearish trend overall we're following. Yes, there's some bearish structure here on the 15, but the grand scheme of things, market is not really bearish or bullish. So I would, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think we can catch a reaction from this area or a reaction from this area. Maybe a push back into the consolidation here. That could be a smart bet in terms of targets, and then probably walk away. And again, I'm just being very conservative with the analysis. There's no kind of overwhelming direction or situation here for gold. Maybe we do have a big drop and we push back to support there, but there's nothing that I'm seeing in the price action that's making me confident with that move and willing to kind of bet on that move happening. There's nothing here in the price action that tells me we're likely to do something like that. We could do something like that, but not necessarily likely, at least according to my analysis. So with the 15, keep it short and sweet. There looks like some nice selling opportunities there. Some nice momentum came to the market from yesterday. So shorts is your best bet, but I'll keep it short and simple. Yeah, short and sweet with shorts there on gold. As for silver on the 15 as well, again, I'm very much looking for buys down the 4-hour chart. I like the break and retest. So the bigger move, I do still see silver heading higher. But for the 15-minute chart, I do think there might be some sells along the way. Of course, price had a big drop there, looking very bearish. Potentially price might come back into a range like this, something similar to what gold is doing, and maybe form another lower high to continue that bearish move and hopefully take me back to my entry where I want to get involved on a break and retest. But what I'm seeing with silver at the moment is lower highs and lower lows. So from a bearish standpoint, I do agree. There's more of a trend here. There's more momentum with silver as well. So I'd rather be looking for shorts in silver than gold because at least we've had some direction. The market's just made all-time new highs, not all-time highs, but new highs recently. We've had a very big bullish move, so the market's quite stretched. So there's reasons why we could see silver see more downside on the lower time frames. Gold, those reasons are non-existent. So I'd much rather look to trade silver than gold if I'm looking for intraday shorts, and it makes sense. And if silver was to rally through this and take out this high, I wouldn't be looking for shorts anymore. At that point, I would be looking for a higher low and some buys to take it back to the high up there. So this is your significant swing high. If price can respect that, remain bearish intraday. If price does break through that, I would scrap the bearish bias, be bullish at that point, look for a pullback, and hopefully you can catch a higher low back to the highs up there, or at least back into a high in this vicinity. But yeah, for silver, it's an interesting one. I think at the moment we're just seeing a counter trend move to the downside. So on the 15-minute chart, there could be shorts to take advantage of that. I do think the bigger move is still to the upside, and now I'm looking for a breaking retest of that level. So that's really where I want to get involved. But from a 15-minute perspective, I can see some shorts potentially forming around 38.2. So I'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. We'll take a look at oil next. We'll go through oil next, and then we'll take a look at the DXY for CS integrated. We'll go through pound CHF. MX, what's up? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Euro Yen daily chart. Okay, we'll take a look at that one, Wayne. No problem. Gold and look for buys, really. Yeah, I think that's the smart play, to be honest. Gold is a very bullish market as a whole. Of course, right now it's a bit flat, but in general, it's just a very bullish market at the moment. I'm only looking to buy the market as well. I think intraday we are very, very choppy. So unless you're looking for choppy markets and that's kind of your skill set, your forte, then of course have at it. But if you're looking for trends, if you're looking for market for a bit of momentum, clear direction, gold does have that in the higher time frames, yes, but not intraday. You could get chopped up pretty badly intraday there. But I like the idea of swinging gold to the upside. So if I do see some healthy pullbacks on the higher time frames, I think there's some very nice buys there. First, let me take a look at oil. What's up, Danny? Hope you're good. Appreciate consistency. Appreciate it. Thank you. Malik, what's up, my man? I hope you are doing well. So yeah, in terms of oil, did you say in your trade on oil, you just want me to analyze it? Okay, yeah, I was okay. So yeah, I remember. Was it you that said you were short on oil? You had an entry around 67, targets 65.5, something like that. Was it you, Elmi, from yesterday? But anyway, in terms of oil, I've been pretty bearish as well, especially after this move here. I was talking about some sells last week, but we had one more up move before price came back down. The reason being is because of how correct we are. I've been pretty bullish, to be honest, on oil. As soon as we came back into major support at 65, I've been looking for a big reversal for oil, but we just haven't seen that momentum come into the picture. We've been very corrective on the way up, and because of that, I've been favoring another push back into support, and then we'll see what price does next. Maybe we respect it, and then we see the momentum, or maybe we break through. Maybe this is just a big impulse. This is a correction. Maybe we see another impulse to the downside. So I can see price do both scenarios really. So in terms of what I want to see happens, it's at this area here where the price respects it for the buy or breaks through for the sell. In terms of the moment right now, on the hourly chart, we are looking bearish. Of course, price did find support to our left over here. To our left over there. So there's been a bit of noise. Buyers looking to enter the market at this area. You expect a bit of a battle there. But it looks like the sellers are victorious or becoming victorious. I do think price is likely to break lower. And yeah, I am looking for a push into 65. But yeah, I think you mentioned 65.5 yesterday. That looks pretty likely at this point in time. We didn't see too much of a reaction, and hopefully price can push through. But yeah, oil to me is looking pretty bearish. There is still support there. So again, I still wouldn't be surprised if we do have maybe one more up move before we do push down. That could still potentially happen. But I would still favor price to get to 64.5, 65. So whether we just drop on a dime or pull back a little bit, then drop, I would stay very bearish on oil. Unless we were to take out these highs somehow, then of course I'll probably look to reanalyze things, but I don't see that happening. So yeah, oil pretty bearish, looking for a push into 60, 65-ish. And then I'll probably recalculate and see what oil is presenting me after that. But in terms of the DXY, I am pretty bullish on this one. We've had a lovely descending channel, but it's been very corrective for the most part, which is what made me bullish on the dollar. And not necessarily bullish, but made me anticipating buys because the market has been very corrective. It's running out of steam. It's not a market which you want to keep looking to sell. Again, the reason behind that, especially as a swing trader, if the market has been falling for quite a while, and also it's also showing signs that momentum is slowing, the trend is slowing, potentially coming to an end. As a swing trader, you're not going to try and keep looking to short that. There's no kind of opportunity there anymore. The opportunity is going against that, potentially finding the counter trend move. And I'm not necessarily saying find the lows and buy the lows, but wait for the market to shift and then see if you can find some pullbacks along the way. And that's really how I'm looking at the dollar right now. It's been bearish for quite a while. Since the start of the year, we have been falling. There's Jan 2025 over there, and you can see price has been falling since then. And now we have a very corrective channel on the way down. So I just haven't been interested in shorting the dollar. But now that we have had this life come back into the market, the break to the upside outside this channel, again, I do want to see a bit more upside before I do get excited and before I do start looking for entries to buy the dollar. It's still a little bit early, but we've got that first sign to say that, okay, dollar's looking strong now. I do expect more upside. I expect at least a push back into this area, which is 99.3. So I'm at least looking for us to get there. There might be some pullbacks into this area, into this support level. So those are areas I'll be looking to see if I can buy or sell corresponding areas on Euro USD or Pound USD. But this is kind of the idea of what I'm looking at. Very corrective on the way up. We've broken the channel. We had some life come back into the market. USD is looking strong. I expect us to at least get back to the high there at 99.4. And there's some smart areas below us where buys make sense at 98, 97.8 as well. So yeah, that's very much the plan there with the dollar. I am looking at buys, focusing on buys a lot more now, and I do think we can see a lot more upside. Okay, so I'll go through Pound CHF next, and then we'll take a look at Euro Yen as well. Tishepo, morning, my man. I hope you're well. Pound USD, yes, we can take a look as well. Reversal on the daily chart, sure thing. We'll take a look. Danny, what's up? Hope you're well. What pairs? Okay, I like to zone in on something but can't find one. Okay, I'll go for like top 5 pairs I'm interested for the remainder of the month. That's a good question, because pairs could take some time to set up. So sometimes I might have a pair that I'm analyzing for this week, but it might not set up till the week after. We've got about 2 weeks left of this month roughly. So yeah, I'll go through that once I finish some requests. Raphael, Eurocad, sure thing, we'll take a look as well. Teshepo, a bit puzzled. DXY correlate with gold? Yes, it's a weird one. It does correlate with gold. It's supposed to be inversely correlated. When the DXY is weak, gold is up. When DXY is strong, gold is down. So they're supposed to be inversely correlated. But as I've gained more experience with the market, I can kind of see that correlation comes and goes, and that actually happens with pretty much all markets. It's not kind of absolute. Correlation comes and goes. So in terms of the dollar and gold, there are times where their correlation is very, very high. Their inverse correlation is very, very high. So dollar is strong, gold is weak, and vice versa. And there's times where they're actually positively correlated. Dollar's strong and gold's strong, and gold just a bit stronger than gold's just a bit stronger than the dollar. So they can interchange between the two, which is a bit annoying and something you can't always rely upon, because fundamentals do play a big part in that. So I wouldn't trust the correlation, to be honest. I wouldn't trust it because it can come and go. I think a few years ago it was quite trustworthy, but it's changed. Anyway, let's go through pound CHF. So pound CHF still looking very bearish. I still think there's a bit more downside for this one. I'm looking at this on the larger time frames. Yeah, I do think we can still at least push back into this support level here and then go from there. Maybe we do break out. Maybe price is wanting to push back into the low here. We have to wait and see. For the most part, pound CHF has absolutely been ranging. So if we are going to break the floor here, that is obviously going to be our next big target. Likewise, we could respect support here, and we might see a big recovery. So both scenarios are probably equally as likely, I would say. At the moment, though, intraday bias, it would still definitely be bearish for pound CHF. We're not quite back at the lows yet, so we still got a little bit more downside to unpack here. In terms of an opportunity, I quite like the retest of this area. If price was to pull back here, I think that's a logical place for a lower high to form, especially on the lower time frames, and perhaps see the next lower high and next shorting opportunity. Earlier in the month, I did say a retest of this level would be nice. Lovely consolidation, very strong break to the downside. Ideally, it would be nice to come back and retest that and find a continuation off the back of that. But at this point, with the low so close to us, with how bearish we've been, I don't think we're going to get a pullback that big. It could happen, so keep an eye out, but very unlikely at this point. This is something a little bit more realistic and not too far away from happening as well. So I'll keep an eye on a pullback, but I would be bearish on pound CHF, at least back to 1.06 then we'll go from there, see what price does. Do we respect it well? Do we break through? And that'll probably dictate my bias for maybe the next few months there, potentially for pound Swiss. But at the moment, still a bit bearish, and I do think there's still a little bit more room left for us to fall into. As for Euro Yen on the daily chart, I love Euro Yen at the moment. Very, very bullish on this one. I'm crying out for a pullback though, so I've got to be patient for that. But it looks like price is almost destined to come back and retest the high at 175. We had the massive breakout of the high here at 166, and we haven't looked bearish since, really. So yeah, I do expect us to go and smash into the highs there. So just waiting for a really healthy pullback to find entries to take advantage of that trend. I talked about a retest of this consolidation. I quite like the look of it. I might have to be paying attention to this area here as well. That was our last swing low, which gave us the new swing high. We might not see a pullback that big anymore. I also like the look of this high here as well, the break and retest of this level. But we've had such a big breakout where it doesn't look likely that we'll come back and retest that. But you can see I've just marked out areas where buys make sense, because that's really the idea with Euro Yen. We've had a really impressive breakout. Now the idea is, can we find some areas where we can hop into some buys? It makes sense and we can take advantage of the remainder of this bullish run. I have to say Euro Yen is looking a bit corrective. It does look like momentum is starting to die out for the buyers, so I do anticipate a pullback pretty soon. The question is just how big of a pullback will it be? Will it be another short one like this and we continue? Will it be a big one into 170 or even a huge one into 166.5? I highly doubt it, but you never know. But yeah, the goal is keep buying it, and the goal is a push back to 175. So yeah, very, very bullish on Euro Yen, looking for a pullback and a buying opportunity. But I only see this heading to the upside, to be honest. Excuse me. Okay, we'll go through pound USD next on the daily chart for Wayne. I'll go through, after that, I'll go through the pairs which I'm focused on for Danny. Then we'll take a look at EuroCAD as well. Okay, sure, no problem. Is that Diana? Good morning, hope you're well. CAD seat chef on the daily time frame. Okay, we'll take a look. DXY chart, just wanted to ask what causes the gap at 74 at the bottom of the screen. It might be the gap as we've opened up for a new day or a new week. What, 74? I'm not too sure what you mean by 74, because the lowest we've been is 96.4. But again, I'm probably not going to remember why we've had the gap. It's probably news or something that's gone on at that time. But again, when the market does reopen, especially over a weekend, the market is continuously trading over the weekend. Of course, the market's closed to us retail traders, but the dollar index doesn't necessarily stop moving just because it's the weekend. We don't have permission to trade it as retail traders, but the market is still moving, especially if things happen over the weekend. That can cause the price to jump pretty quickly. So when it does reopen for the following week, price will change potentially, and it could form a pretty big gap. So the exact reasoning why we had the gap, I'm not too sure, but we have a gap. Gaps do tend to fill. A little bit less so on the DXY. It's not as a consistent, it's not as a liquid market as like a Euro USD, for example. But in general, gaps do tend to fill, but not always. And sometimes they will do, but it could take for a big long time. We might form a gap, we might form a trend for a few months, then eventually go and fill the gap at a later date. So there's that as well. But yeah, in terms of the reasoning, yeah, I probably won't be able to recall why, and most of the time I'm not really too bothered about the why. It's more so, okay, is there a gap? Is there an opportunity to fill the gap? If not, where else is there opportunity? That's really what my focus is. In terms of pound USD on the daily, then I'll go through some pairs I'm interested in for the remainder of the month. Pound USD actually is one of the pairs I'm interested in, so we can start there. But yeah, pound USD looking pretty bearish. This is the daily chart. We've taken out these highs to our left. We've been very corrective on the way up. And to me, it looks like price is on its last legs before we do start to see a bit of a drop here. Now, I quite like shorts here for pound USD. Looks like we're just about to sweep these lows. And once we do that, that's kind of the green light to me to say, okay, look to short pound on a pullback. Maybe back to some of these areas into the previous low, around 1.32, 1.33. But yeah, pound USD looks really tight to me. So I like the shorts for this one. And in terms of what I'm looking for personally, it probably would be a retest of this area at 1.355. Not asking for a lot. If I do draw the the Fibonacci out. You got the 50% just above that. Of course, the low is not necessarily confirmed yet. You might still push down a little bit more, but roughly in this area. So probably got the 50 lining up, maybe the 0.618. But I'm happy to be looking for pullbacks into that area and taking some shorts there for pound USD. As I said, I do think there is some distance for us to fall, and then we'll go from there. But pound USD looking bearish to me. I do think we're going through a bit of a mini reversal here. I'm not expecting a complete reversal. Of course, that could happen. I do think we're more likely to see a bit of a counter trend move before maybe we do continue our bullish bias in the long run. But yeah, for now, I do still see more downside, and pound USD is a pair which I'm looking at for the remainder of the month. I think there could be some very smart short opportunities with this one. Euro dollar is another pair I'm looking at exactly for the same reasons. Another pair which has recently broken to the downside. Same reasons as pound, very stretched. We've taken out some major highs recently, and I do think we're due a bit of a pullback. It would be even nice to see if we can retest the high here. That would be a very nice situation. Come back, retest the high, then maybe we can continue to the upside from then onwards. We'll have to wait and see. But I do think Euro's running out of juice there. It's looking pretty tired, and as a result, I do like the idea of taking some shorts. And again, I think this could probably end up falling for the remainder of the month. We might see a bit of a bearish trend for the remainder of the month, something like this. And that could be some very nice shorts along the way. So I'm keeping a very close eye on shorting Euro, shorting pound. Another pair I'm keeping a very close eye on is buying silver. I think silver's looking extremely bullish right now. We got the breakout of all of this mess here not too long ago. And now price is really looking very aggressive. Very big move up there. Lovely consolidation. Another really nice move there recently. And of course, you've got the retest opportunity just below us there. So if we can see a bit more downside, I'll be more than happy to find some buying opportunities on the retest of this level at 37.3. And then from there, targets back to the high. And we've got the big psychological level of 40 just above us over there as well. So silver looking really good. And I really like the opportunity to take some buys here. So silver buys, pound USD sells, Euro USD sells. Those probably be the best three. I would always keep an eye on Euro Aussie. This is not as good of an opportunity, but I do like Euro Aussie because of the risk to reward if it does play out. So I'm looking for some shorts on this one for a push into this low. And I'm looking for a retest of this area here. What I'm looking at is kind of the same idea as pound Euro USD and Euro USD in terms of we've got a very corrective uptrend. It looks like we've broken that. And now I'm looking at a retest of this area for a lower high to fall and some shorts. Again, best case scenario, we do get pushed back into the low there, but there are other areas where it makes sense to book some profits. So that's up to you in terms of the management of the trade. But the idea is that we're starting to run out of steam. We're seeing some meaningful bearish momentum. And can we find the next lower high to short Euro Aussie here? And I do expect to see a lower high form. So I'm very bearish in Euro Aussie. I do think a big move is heading to the downside. I think pound USD looks a little bit better because it's a bit more stretch at the top of a trend potentially. So it's a slightly better opportunity. Same with Euro, but I still think it's a good trade to look into. The three ones I'm very concentrated on is silver, Euro, and pound. But Euro Aussie is also something I'm looking closely at as well. And I'm also keeping a very close eye on pound CAD. There's a similar opportunity to pound USD, so I'll probably just pick between the two, which one looks better, but I'm looking to short them both for similar reasons. If I can see pound CAD sweep this low here, I'll be very interested on a pullback, maybe even to retest that exact range and look for some shorts off the back of that. I do think pound CAD has been bullish for quite some time and it's starting to run out of steam. You can see the way we respected the prior swing high there, rejected it very aggressively. I do feel like pound CAD may be forming a bit of a top soon, and there could be some very nice counter trend opportunities along the way. And especially with a break of structure there, we had all this momentum taking us to the upside, and we've just potentially reversed the whole thing. that's a clear sign to me that says, okay, sellers are really stepping into the market. Maybe this one last buy was just anticlimactic, just to retest the highs, and potentially we could sell off from there onwards. So I like the idea of a test of 1.85. It's a similar opportunity to pound USD in terms of waiting for a break of structure, pull back to retest the range, and then a short. If you have a quick look at pound USD, kind of the same idea, looking for a takeout of some structure there, pull back, retest some structure, and then a continuation. And after all, pound USD and pound CAD are very similar pairs anyway, so we can expect that. But I'll say those are the 5 pairs I'm very much interested in particular pound, euro, and silver. But I'll keep an eye on pound CAD if I'm not already trading pound USD, and euro Aussie looks good as well for some shorts. Okay, where was I? CAD CHF, Diana will take a look at that one next. No, EuroCAD, sorry, EuroCAD, then we'll take a look at CAD Swiss. To Shepo, do you involve fundamental analysis in your trading or strictly technicals? At the moment, strictly technicals. That's always been my foundation. I will be looking to start to incorporate fundamentals more in a kind of like structured way. But at the moment, purely technicals. No problem. Happy to help. Would I hold pound USD sales until seeing another reversal to the upside? What zones are you marking up on the pound USD? Is that all? No, it's more areas of supply and demand, or support and resistance. I mean, for pound USD, this is simply support, really. Price support with that wick acted as meaningful support before price broke through. That's an area which I would like to short from. And in terms of this daily area here, it's kind of like an area of support, also kind of like an area of demand as well. Bit of a consolidation, shot to the upside with a lot of momentum. It's really just areas where buyers and sellers have shown sign of interfering with the market. A lot of momentum came through here. It's an area of interest naturally, even this area here as well. But I do expect us to break through, and then naturally support there before we did break through to the downside pretty aggressively. So yeah, it's a mixture between support resistance and supply and demand, really. And they're just kind of reference points in terms of where price can push into, where we could potentially look for shorts, where we can potentially look to place entries as well, targets as well. But yeah, pound USD, I wouldn't necessarily hold until I see a reversal. I normally have targets for my trades, unless I'm trading in a very bullish or bearish condition, like for example silver. If I do get long on silver, I won't have a target for that trade because silver is a market which is breaking out right now and could really fly. So it's a pair which I'll just trail stops. As for pound USD, it's not a market that's overly bullish or overly bearish. It's a market that's kind of chopping around a little bit. So in this case, I would have a hard to take profit for this idea. Probably back down here around 1.32. It depends on the entry and the setup, but probably that's where I do have the take profit. Dan, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, okay, we'll take a look. I'll go through EuroCAD and CAD CHF first. So EuroCAD, an interesting one. Still somewhat quite bullish. I'm very watchful over EuroCAD. Reason being, we are trading in massive resistance. This is the monthly chart, by the way, for EuroCAD. And you can see we're pushing into some really serious areas of resistance. So I do think price can see some downside. Now, price may eventually break through this. We have no idea. There are levels higher up, price can go and retest. But for the most part, we can see every time price has been here since 2016. So for the past decade almost, we've seen some very healthy rejections. And if I do see some signs of reversal in here, I'll be looking to short this for EuroCAD. I know we have been incredibly bullish, but we are hitting potential areas of reversal. And if we see signs of reversal, well, it kind of makes sense to be looking to short. in this particular area. So dropping down to the lower time frames, at the moment the market is still bullish, not really showing signs of reversal yet. So that's why I'm kind of just holding back a little bit. We've just gone and swept the high there. Haven't really seen much momentum come into the market since then, but not really seeing opportunities for reversal. And what I mean in terms of an opportunity for reversal, I want to be seeing lower lows and lower highs in a bigger scale before I do take some shorts. And then something like this would interest me to take it down, because I know where we're coming from, a really big, meaningful area on the monthly chart. I can see obvious signs of momentum coming to the market. I can see obvious signs of lower highs coming to the market. That would interest me for some shorts, because I know where I'm coming from as well. And the fact that this bullish trend may be running out of steam and possibly coming to an end as well. So I would be looking to try and short EuroCAD, to be honest. Not now, I think it's a bit too early. Not necessarily too early, it's just there's not enough evidence yet. This could still very much be a flag pattern for price to continue higher. I can see a world where we do that as well. Of course, not guaranteed. We do respect this resistance level as well. You want to make sure you stay aware of that. Yes, we're trading some major resistance, but price could always break through. So you don't want to be too stubborn with that. Yes, I do expect us to respect the level, but let's wait for some really confirming signs that, okay, we're likely to sell off now, which we don't have quite yet. So EuroCAD for me is still quite bullish. There are signs that we are struggling, yes, but I'm waiting for that to kind of really develop a lot more before I do get short myself. But I am expecting this. So that's kind of what my analysis is for the next few days, maybe a couple of weeks. But I think it's still a little bit too early to really be confident with the shorts just yet. In terms of CAD CHF, an interesting one as well, of course, coming from all-time lows. Again, this one's been falling for quite some time and just taking out low after low after low. So at some point, there's going to be a pretty meaningful pullback here for CAD CHF. I do think we'll see a very nice recovery for the pair. So in terms of like a long-term swing bias, I'll be looking to try and buy this. I'm not interested in the shorts here. I do expect us to run out of momentum. When a market is creating all-time lows, you have to think to yourself, who's continuing to sell this? People who have been selling this, we slowly exiting their positions, waiting for price to come back to a more healthy price again to keep shorting. And naturally, people closing short positions is a natural, is equivalent to people opening buying positions as well. So we should see a natural kind of relief to price there. So at some point in time, I do think CAD CHF has a pretty big up move, and I'm interested to see if I can capitalize on that. But it's way too early for me to be looking to buy the market. There's still a very meaningful level of resistance just above us here, around 0.592. I think that's a sensible area to look to short from. Again, I wouldn't be looking for a big move down. I do think we're quite stretched. We're coming from all-time lows, so it's not a position where I'll be happy to just try and short this market back to lows and expect the trend to continue. We've already seen the bulk of the move to the downside, so it's more of an area which, if we get to and respect well, I think there could be a nice bounce there for a few days. Then we might find support and then continue higher up. So being careful with the shorts. We're quite oversold. We're taking out all-time lows. We're well and truly bearish right now. And typically in this situation, market's going to start to tire and potentially reverse soon. So getting ready for the buys for CAD CHF. They still look a while away, so not getting too excited just yet. But once I do start to see some higher highs and higher lows form, then yes, I will try and find some buys from a swing perspective, maybe on a retest of the structure. It's very hypothetical at this moment in time. There's no structure to go with, so we have to wait and see. But as soon as I start to see some higher highs and higher lows develop, then yeah, sure, I can get some buys there and take it to the upside, similar to what I just spoke about with EuroCAD. Once I start to see lower lows and lower highs there, I'll take some shorts. Likewise with CAD CHF. But for now, I don't think that's a bad area to look into. I think it's a nice place for a short. I'm just not expecting anything special from that area. So be aware of that. But yeah, that's the best I've got right now for CAD CHF. At the moment, we're kind of just very flat and moving sideways. Okay, where was I? Okay, so New Zealand dollar and dollar yen, we can have a look at those next. If I've missed out a pair, if you mentioned a pair early on and I just haven't looked at it, let me know in the chat again, because yeah, sometimes I will forget. But New Zealand dollar, dollar yen we'll take a look at next. Euro Aussie looking like bearish flag pattern. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro Aussie as well. The correction, then a continuation lower. That's really what my interest is with Euro Aussie. Teshepo, pound USD forming couple handle pattern on the 15. Cause the retest of the 4-hour trend line, then sell long term. Okay, I'll have a look at pound USD on the 15. I haven't looked at it on the 15 yet. Pavinator, my man, what is up? Hope you're well. Happy Wednesday, right back at ya. 1.10 Aussie dollars are going through. Yeah, I know. Let's see if it goes down to 0.62. It feels like for the past decade you've been looking for a push into 0.62. I mean, I've been looking for a push into 0.62 as well with you, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully finally it does happen. I do think we'll see some USD strength coming to the market now. So hopefully we can see Aussie pick up some steam into those areas. As for New Zealand dollar, which we'll take a look at, I don't think there's much to say here because the way I'm looking at the pairs that we're kind of just consolidating back and forth within this channel, this ascending channel. Price made some really nice higher highs and higher lows a couple of weeks ago. Respect to the high, nice move, almost back at the low now. And that's really where you want to operate. That's where you want to find your opportunities, at the high or at the low. In the middle is no man's land. That's where you want to stay away, because that's where a lot of the noise will be. And just in terms of finding a clean place for your stop loss, you have a lot more trouble in the middle than you will do at the extremes, at the high or the low of the range or the channel or whatever consolidation you're working with. There might be some buys here. I'm personally not really interested. I'm favoring price to actually break the channel to the downside, because whenever I see patterns like this, an ascending channel, I'm always expecting us to eventually do something like that. That's normally the likely move when price is moving in an ascending channel. It's not as aggressive as Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is a very aggressive ascending channel, so I expect a much bigger relief for that when it does happen. I'm expecting a pretty big move down. We can speak about this in a moment. But New Zealand dollar, I do expect us to break lower. So for that reason, I'm not looking to buy. And also, it's not really a trend worthwhile trading and taking advantage of, because it's extremely corrective, not seeing much momentum, frequent pullbacks, deep pullbacks. It's a sign of a market that is running out of steam. It probably does need somewhat of a pullback. Now, in terms of the long-term bias, I actually do think New Zealand dollar can still continue higher. I think likely we'll probably break lower, put a higher low in somewhere, and then push. And this could end up being a very nice buy. But we can speak upon that a little bit later. We still have to break the low of the channel first. Like I said, it's not a bad place for a buy. But I just expect us to break through. So for that reason, I'll look a little bit silly if I do stop buying then, take an unnecessary loss. So I'm staying away from that. But keep an eye. Maybe if you get something like this that could provide maybe a push into the 50% of the range, that could be a nice place to lock in some gains. But like I said, I do think price is likely to break through. So personally, I'm waiting for the bigger move, maybe some buys at a later date for a nice higher low. That's what I'm interested in for New Zealand dollar. And same thing for Aussie dollar as well. If that one does eventually break out the channel, I do think we can probably push down from a higher low somewhere around 0.63, 0.625, and then be on our way. I'm looking at this as a big kind of impulse move. And then I'm looking at hopefully the breakout as somewhat of a correction of that move before we do continue. Maybe a push into the 0.5, 0.618 could be an area of interest there. But again, probably still a few days away from that happening. So we can speak more about that when it is starting to shape up. But yeah, Aussie dollar still just biding its time. Was looking for a push into the upper end of the channel. Doesn't look likely at this point, at this moment in time. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, but I do think we'll break lower. That's kind of what I'm banking on. So yeah, maybe we're not able to take advantage of that. Maybe there might be some shorts on a breakout of the channel. Not really my forte. That's not really how I enter my trades. But if you do like taking breakout opportunities, breakout of trend lines, that's something to look into. And in terms of dollar yen, this one has been looking pretty bullish. Of course, you had a lot of weakness with the yen yesterday, and you had a lot of strength with the dollar. So it was a recipe of bullishness here for dollar yen. You had a very strong currency and a very weak currency at the time. And yeah, dollar yen's breaking to the upside. Looks like it's clearing resistance, most importantly, and the high of this range here. Now, it does look like we've probably got more upside in the tank. I am still longer term bearish on dollar yen. I am looking at this as a really significant level of resistance. And I do think price may be on its way to go and test that area before maybe we do see the next big drop. There's a pretty big level of support here at 140. I do think long term we're likely to break through. I'm looking at these areas as potentially an area where another lower high could form. 1, 2, 3. And that could be a very nice place for a short. But we have to get there first, of course. As of right now, we're looking pretty bullish, taking out these highs. I do think we'll see more upside for the dollar yen. Maybe a nice pullback into this area or a nice pullback into this high. I would probably prefer this area, but they both look equally as good. And yeah, I do think we'll see a bit more of an up move here for dollar yen. At least there's some direction for the market now. We're breaking through highs now as well. Dollar yen's been incredibly choppy for the past few weeks here. Haven't been a big fan, but now we're taking out highs. Let's see if we can get a nice corrective pullback into 148 or 147 and take some buys there. And yeah, a push back into that 151, 152 area is where I'm looking for that longer term sell. Let's see if we can get there in the next few days. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. We'll take a look at pound USD on the 15th for Toshepo. I do have a free course with elevating traders. You can take a look at. It's pretty detailed, going from start to end pretty much in terms of looking at confluences and bringing confluence together, developing strategies, developing your own kind of unique outlook in terms of how you want to trade the market as well, whether you're day trading or swing trading. So you can check out that course. I will drop the link to it in the chat. Actually, it's completely free to join and go through. So yeah, check out the link if you are interested. CS integrated, still holding sells Euro Pound Aussie. Nice. Yeah, that should have played out very well yesterday for you. Out of the noise, ready, just waiting. Let's see what BT outside together with the DXY. Yeah, I mean, you're looking very good with those positions, especially with those entries. Because again, we talked about this the other day, you know, because of the position of those entries, you're kind of away from the noise and potentially at an area where a high could form. And, you know, it could be a situation where maybe you catch a complete reversal. Maybe price does have a slight move and then it goes back against you. You're not too sure. But your position very well. Miles will try and take advantage of that. It's looking very good. In terms of BTC, that's been very bullish as of late. Looks like it's having a bit of a pullback. We can go through that shortly. Let me just go through pound USD on the 15. So, what was the question? Cup and handle on the 15, which might probably cause retest the 4-hour trend line, then sell long term. Let me get the 4-hour trend line in play. I assume this is the trend line you're talking about. Okay, so you're talking about this as a cup and handle? Possibly. Wouldn't say it's the best formation of it. Yeah, I wouldn't be totally convinced, to be honest. A bit of a reach. But I do expect to pull back at some point. The market's been bearish for quite a while. It's not going to continue with these lower lows and lower highs. At some point, it's going to reverse. It might be now. It might be another couple bearish drops, a bearish continuation before we do have that bigger pullback. But at some point in time, in the next day or two, we probably will see a pretty big relief. And then hopefully, yeah, we do come back and retest that area of confluence with the 4-hour trend line, with that kind of level of support just above us, which of course we turn resistance. That's really where the confluence will lie for me for some shorting opportunities. But yeah, the cup and handle, not too sure about that. Maybe not. It's not really overly convincing. Again, that's the kind of the idea with patterns, is that some patterns will be higher probability than others, not necessarily individual patterns, but for example, a double bottom could look very, very good in a certain situation, or it could look very, very average, or not worth the trouble in certain situations. In that situation, I wouldn't say the cup and handle looks overwhelmingly clear cut. I do like cup and handle patterns. I mean, there's different names for it. Bowl patterns. It's the idea that the market's kind of slowly reversing, kind of a U-shaped pattern, and then gives you a pullback to continue. I like those patterns a lot, to be honest. I think they have a really high win rate, but I wouldn't say that is a good example of one. So I wouldn't get too excited. But I do expect a pullback on the 15. We've been seeing continuous lower lows and lower highs. Momentum is starting to drop a little bit. We've got really significant support to our left there. So I do think naturally we'll see some buyers start to enter the market again. That should give us a bit of a pullback. Then yeah, hopefully a retest of that area. They can find some shorts to to continue that momentum. But Pound USD, really a pair that I do like a lot, and it is definitely on the watch list for myself. We'll take a look at BTC next. I haven't actually looked at BTC today, so I'm interested to see what it's doing. Yesterday was looking pretty bearish. Okay, we'll go through New Zealand yen as well. Lucy, no problem. Now question comes is, where do I exit? Yeah. Are you trading stops, Cease Integrated? Are you trading stops, or are you just kind of at the moment just seeing how far you can take the position? But yeah, that's always the question. Where do you exit? Because again, I think the biggest kind of thing to understand is when you do exit your position, very rarely is it the optimal point to exit. Sometimes it will be. Sometimes you just be lucky. Sometimes you exited the trade at the optimal point before it turned around completely and went against you. Very rarely going to do that consistently. Probably for every 10 trades you take, maybe 2 or 3 of them at best will you exit optimally. 7, 8 of those 10 will kind of be not optimal, but again, you don't necessarily have to be optimally getting out of trades every single time. As long as the returns are decent, that's really the important question. But of course, when you do look in hindsight, it's like, okay, I could have held into that trade a little bit longer, or I could have exited a little bit earlier and not sat through a big pullback, and instead of closing at a 1 hour, maybe could have closed at a 3 hour early in the trade. So there's always that conundrum when closing positions. Yes, and you never really know the answer until everything is said and done, really. So yeah, I think if you can accept the fact that it's not going to be an optimal exit, it might be, but probably not. And just look for logical reasons of why you could exit. You could either target a specific area, which is a little bit more risky because you're banking on price getting there specifically. Or you could just say, I'm going to let price do its thing and just wait for red flags to come, which of course they will eventually come. And then you can close the positions there. But yeah, that is the funny question, when to close them. In terms of in terms of BTC, sorry, we're looking very bullish at the moment. Last time that the BTC was over here yesterday somewhere. We picked up and we're looking pretty healthy. Yesterday's close, bit of a wick there, so it's a bit of a sign that says, okay, the sellers didn't really have too much joy. Big wick to the upside a couple of days ago, but momentum hasn't really picked up. I did say it would be nice for a retest of the highs here, or a retest of this brief range here before all that momentum came into the market. Ideally, that would be a lovely place to find an entry and take some longs, but will BTC get there? Maybe it doesn't, but I think that will be a smart area for a buy. We've got 125k just above us. That would be the next big level for excuse me, for BTC, and maybe on a one-way ticket there. To be honest, I'm not really seeing any opportunities in terms of buying BTC really. Maybe for it to pull back into support again, double bottom, maybe a bit of a flag pattern, maybe that could be a decent buy off the back of that. Like I said, these are smart areas below us, but I'm not seeing a good buy right now apart from these two opportunities. So unless we do pull back, then yeah, there might be a nice buy. If BTC just keeps up momentum and keeps firing, so be it. We'll see how far it takes us. But yeah, still very, very bullish for Bitcoin. Dollar is, of course, strong at the moment as well, but you are seeing BTC at the moment stronger than the dollar right now. So despite the USD strength, BTC ignores that and is at the moment a lot stronger, which is quite interesting to look into actually. But yeah, Bitcoin extremely bullish. How far can we go? No idea. We smashed through 120k last week. Maybe it's time we go hit 125, maybe 130. Then we're starting hitting some ridiculous prices here for BTC. I mean, we already are, but it's crazy how far BTC has come. Okay, so next up we'll go through New Zealand yen for Lucy. Yes, I have gone through gold, but I can quickly go through that for you, Fred. Okay, never held that long before. Wow, okay, normally just hit take profit and we make peace with profits. I have, fair enough. Yeah, I'd say, again, because the idea when you're holding positions is that you're really trying to milk the trade for all it's worth here. So, I mean, as long as I've held a trade for, well, in recent history of mine, I'll probably say about 2 months. All time, I've probably held a trade maybe for about 3 or 4. But the idea is that you're just trying to milk the trade for all it's worth, and you want to have some type of management plan with it. Because you don't want just to hold, because that's when things can get ugly potentially. So you want to have a plan for it in terms of managing the trade, whether you're trading stops loosely, or you got a specific target in mind, or you're taking positions off as you go along. I know you already closed a decent chunk of the positions anyway, so you're already taking a decent. So in your situation, I'll probably just trail, to be honest, because I've already taken a big size off, and I'm just leaving positions to run. So it's kind of just, I will trail and just see how far I can take them. Yeah, I think that's kind of how I'll take it, to be honest. And on to the course, nice, wicked, Wayne. Let me know how you find it. Tim, kudos to you, Elevating Trades course. Appreciate it, learned a lot. Great, good to hear. Who taught you to trade, Mika? Thank you for teaching, no problem. Well, at first did learn from my dad, actually. He's what introduced me into trading, got me up to speed. Then yeah, went from there and pretty much learned for myself as well along the way. Wait for a pullback or break of structure. Is that for pound USD? Well, we're not quite broken structure yet for pound, so I kind of need that to be ticked off first. But then after that, and we're very, very close to doing that, then yeah, I will be looking at some pullbacks. I've got this prior low here. As long as we can sweep that, which I think we're not too far away from doing, then yeah, I'm looking for pullbacks on pound USD to short. Okay, let me go through New Zealand yen and gold before I forget. If I have missed out a pair, let me know, by the way. I feel like I've definitely blanked someone in the chat there. So if that is the case, let me know. But yeah, New Zealand yen, an interesting pair because it is a yen pair and yen pairs have been on the up. But New Zealand, I think, is a bit weak at the moment as well. So we haven't really flown away like maybe Euro yen has or Swiss yen has. And we're very corrective as well. So I'm not really optimistic in terms of following this uptrend anyway. It's not an uptrend that I look at, say, yeah, I want to get involved in that. Absolutely not. It looks really, really corrective to me. And because of that, I'm expecting New Zealand yen to eventually have a pretty big drop. Now, will this drop be a complete reversal, or will it just form another higher low for us to continue higher? Not too sure. We have to see how we drop and how it does set up from then onwards. But I do think a bit of a sell-off is inbound here for New Zealand yen. And I'm looking at the higher time frames here. I'm looking at this ginormous bearish leg we had at the start of the year pretty much, or end of last year, 2024. Nice swing to the downside. This is giving me pullback vibes here of this bearish move. So we are coming back into some meaningful resistance just above us here as well. I think this is a nice place to be keeping an eye for some shorts. I do think there is some downside there for New Zealand yen. Again, whether it's going to be a complete reversal or a pullback, I'm not too sure yet. Can't get a good read in the bigger picture, but I do expect to see some downside pretty soon here for New Zealand yen. In terms of shorting, I would wait for us to push back into resistance, then maybe wait for us to put some lower highs in before getting involved, because if you're trying to short outright, I can imagine a lot of people trying to short New Zealand yen and just getting their stop loss taken out consistently because it's still chugging to the upsides, sweeping the highs. So trying to short this outright would be very, very difficult to do because you're essentially trying to call the top in this move, and to call that on a dime with a tight stop loss is going to be very difficult consistently. You might get lucky once or twice, but consistently you can get eaten up pretty badly. So waiting for the market to kind of give us that top and those lower highs is important. And then we can start to base some trades off the back of that. I do expect to see a pretty big drop, to be honest, so you don't have to be the first person into the trade. Wait for that market to put that high in, put that lower high in, most importantly, and then perhaps there's some opportunities off the back of that. Nice breaking retest somewhere for a trade. I like this kind of area of demand here. Very strong up move. I feel like price may be looking to come back and retest an area like this. And that's where we can kind of back away and say, okay, is New Zealand yen still going to continue higher, or are we looking at a bigger reversal if we can break through? But that's really what I'm looking at for New Zealand yen. It's an uptrend right now, still chugging away. Yen's still, for the most part, pretty weak. So the market is bullish, but it's not a trend which I want to follow. It's really corrective, really struggling. So I'd rather be looking for the opposing move. We're coming to a meaningful level of resistance where maybe we do continue a longer bearish trend, which started around the end of last year. Maybe that does potentially continue. If we can see signs like this, structure like this developing, then yeah, maybe it does. And that would be an area of interest for some targets. So that's kind of really where I'm at for New Zealand yen. Aussie yen in a similar situation as well. Not as much. New Zealand yen is a lot more corrective if I can remember correctly. Yeah, Aussie yen has a bit more momentum to it, but again, I'm not necessarily getting overly excited about buying Aussie yen either. I'll quickly go through gold for Fred. Sales for Euro, Pound, Aussie, and D. I can exit the nearest, but keep the highest one position. Yeah. If DXY reaches 99.8 or near, we'll close all positions. Okay, fair enough. Okay, 98.8. So that is roughly so that's just above us over here. So not too far away then. No problem, CS Integrated. Happy to help, my man. The Shepo. Between day trading and swing trading, which I think is more preservative. Is that preservative? Okay, in terms of stress, learning, and confirming setups. And what is your entry time frame? I don't think there's a correct answer to that, to be honest. I think you can find some very stressful swing traders and very stressful day traders. Of course, naturally, day trading is a bit more active, so maybe you choose day trading. But you can be less active than a swing trader in day trading. A day trading is all about the length of time you hold a position, not necessarily how many positions you take. Of course, naturally, day traders will be a bit more active than swing traders, but still, you can find some very, very active swing traders who have 5 to 10 positions open at once, trading a bunch of pairs. You can find some day traders who only take maybe 1 or 2 trades a week, just waiting for the right time to strike. So in terms of stress, you can be as stressed as you want it to be. You can make it as stressful as you want it to be. So I wouldn't necessarily say one's more stressful than the other, because you can mold it to whatever you want it to be, where you can create more or less stress for yourself. That just comes to your style and your frequency and how aggressive you want to be. So I think there's no right answer for that necessarily. In terms of learning, I'll probably say if you actually want to learn a little bit quicker, get really stuck into trading, I'll say probably day trading is the better option, really, if you've got the time for it. Of course, some people have work and other commitments, maybe a student, so you probably don't have the bulk of the day to really give to trading. Maybe it's more the evening, so at that point you're probably looking at more of a swing trading style, just in terms of practicality. But if you've got the time in your hands, or you can work around things, then yeah, I think day trading is great because it means you learn quicker, you take more trades naturally, there's more opportunities to take, you take more losses, more wins. There's a lot more to learn, and the key thing is learning. You're not here to make a big profit. You're in the beginning stages of your journey. The goal is just to get experience, get into the market, take wins, take losses, manage trades, fail, come back up again. That's really the goal of your learning phase. Have a strategy, get good at it, get feedback, look back over your trades. That's really the goal here. And you'll do that a lot quicker with day trading than with swing trading, just because of the volume of opportunities you'll get. So I would say in terms of learning, you might find a little bit more joy with day trading. But in terms of opportunities, like I said, you can make it to what you want it to be. You can find some very aggressive swing traders. You can find very aggressive day traders. There's not too much difference really between swing trading or day trading, as people think so. So I'd say whichever, just for your situation, have a look at your situation, commitments you got going on, what time do you have, can you day trade, can you allocate time of the day to fully focus on maybe a London or a New York session, or even Asian session, or do you have to work around things? And swing trading is the more appropriate one. In terms of stress, both as stressful as each other, really. In terms of learning, you can learn very much with swing trading too, but maybe it can be a slightly quicker process with day trading, just because there's a bit more going on. In terms of entry time frame, I use the 4-hour chart. I used to use the hourly, but I switched over to the 4 hours, slightly a little bit slower, allows me for bigger stop losses, not as many as entry signals as well, and because of other commitments I have, it's a little bit more suited to me as well, and I quite like the timing of it as well. Where was I? Pretty sure gold. I was supposed to look at gold, wasn't So in terms of gold, this one, yeah, not a big fan of, to be honest. I like the buys for gold in terms of the swing idea. Again, I look at gold in the higher time frames. It's a very bullish market. Yeah, I'm looking to buy this absolutely. All I can see right now is that the market is just very flat, which is nothing bad per se. It just means that we're probably having a bit of a rest right now. I can very much see gold moving sideways, and then suddenly we're breaking out. Things are looking bullish again. We're trending again. So I can see gold potentially going through something like that. But of course, if you zoom in into the intraday time frames, it does get quite chaotic in there, quite choppy in there, and probably not worthwhile operating. So in terms of a swing bias, I like the buys because of the trend we've got right now. But in terms of where I want to position myself, I want to position myself away from the noise and where I can get a relatively safe stop loss. And underneath this level, or underneath this level is kind of where I can tick those boxes. I'm not stuck inside the range here. I can trade from a very meaningful level of support and find entries and stop losses in safe areas. And if I can catch a reaction, I don't even have to catch the home run for it to be profitable. I can just catch a bounce off these areas and secure gains, move stop losses to break even. If it does continue to be a massive winner, great. I'll probably look to trail stop losses along the way. If it does have a nice reaction but does go against me, I can probably still walk away at the very least at a break even. So yeah, for gold, I like the areas here, which is what 32.50 we'll call it, and 31.30 we'll call it. I think those are smart places, especially from a swing bias. If you want to buy and hold a position, I think you can find some luck with those areas. In terms of intraday, I did suggest there might be a shorter term sell opportunity to keep an eye on. We have seen some lower highs coming to the market, some areas of supply here to look into. Might see a nice reaction, but as I said that at the start of the stream when I was going through this, the idea is to keep it short and sweet, not to stay in trades for too long, because there's a lot of noise here with gold. And in these conditions, you might be looking good, and then suddenly things turn around and your profits disappear. And that's because there's no kind of overwhelming trend or overwhelming momentum in the market right now on the 15-minute chart. We are very, very flat. So there's nothing really going for you in any direction. So if you are going to get short, there is some nice momentum recently. Trying to take advantage of that really on a pullback. But the goal is to keep it short and sweet really. Some nice areas of supply to look into. You got consolidation there, which started the move. You got another one there, which gave us another push down. Both areas could be interesting. I'll wait to see how we get there and how we react before justifying the trade. But those are some lower time frame opportunities to keep an eye on if you are interested. But yeah, I much prefer the buys at these lows. So that is where my focus will be. CSN degree 99.282. Okay, so that's roughly the high over there. So yeah, I would say that makes sense as well. I would say that makes sense because of course this is a meaningful area for the dollar. We had a pretty aggressive move down there as well. So you can probably we're probably likely to see some sellers enter the market. Of course, whether they're successful in terms of another big move down or we might break through, we don't know, but I think that will be a healthy area for a target. And I think an area which we're likely to get to as well. So it makes sense. Not only is it an area where sellers could jump in, but it's an area which I do expect the dollar to make its way towards. So yeah, I would say not bad. Not bad in terms of the target. Next time when you come profitable, it's been 1 year for me for a day and break even now. This is hard. When should I get involved in prop firms, currently trading small personal account? Yeah, I mean, you're doing very well. You're doing very well. I mean, the average retail trader probably doesn't last more than a year. So the fact that you're still here is kudos to you as well. For me, it was probably roughly the 3-year mark, but I did take some time out at some point for university, but roughly the 3-year mark is when I started to find a nice rhythm in the market. So yeah, I wouldn't say, I mean, I'll say you're doing very well, especially after a year, especially if you're around the break-even stage as well. Your losses kind of equal the sum of your wins. And actually at that stage is a very well, it's a good stage to be at. Not necessarily because you're not profitable yet, but it's a good stage because you're very close to it. Because trading is just really a sum of your losses, a sum of your wins, and looking at which one's greater. If they're equal, you just need to shave a little bit off your, if this is your wins here and this is your losses, if they're equal, you just need to shave a little bit off the top and add a little bit more here, and suddenly you're profitable really. Equity curve starts pointing up. Of course, it might not be absolutely flying up, and of course, it never will be there consistently. You might go through some very nice times in the market, but there will be corrections, of course. But at least your equity curve is pointing up and you can find some consistency, and that alone will give you so much confidence in the market. So in terms of being break even, the biggest advice I can give you is really go through your trades. Not only in terms of looking at it in terms of, did you follow your plan? Did you take the right trade? Did you wait for your entry signal? All that stuff is great, but also look at it in terms of the context of the market. What actually happened with the market? Did you get stopped out in a move like this? Say you entered here, you had a stop here. Did you get stopped out and then just take it as a loss? But also analyze what the market did after. Did it still go in your favor? So essentially you were right with the move, but maybe you could have found another entry to get back involved and take advantage of that move there. And simply finding that extra trade, might be the difference between break even and profitability as well. So analyzing your trades, seeing what you're doing on average, what you could do better. Maybe you entering a little bit too early or entering a little bit too late. Is your stop loss maybe a bit too tight? Maybe widening that could help. Maybe even bring the stop loss a bit tighter could help as well. It depends on your situation and maximizing risk reward opportunities as well. Maybe some pairs are a bit more fruitful than other pairs, so you want to focus on them a little bit more. Discard the pairs which aren't really providing you the fruits right now. And it could just be little adjustments like that, which will shave a little bit off your losses and naturally make you a little bit more profitable for it. And trading is all about that, really. It's all about kind of just doing something, looking at what you did, what could you do better, take that into the next, the next few months, and look back at the previous few months and rinse and repeat, really. But I'll say you're doing very well after year. And in terms of prop firms as well, again, you don't want to go in too early. You want to be confident. You want to see some consistency first. And again, especially on a small account where it's a live funds and there will be emotions involved. So until you kind of get a bit of a rhythm in the market, you can confidently say that you've got some consistency. You probably don't need to go into prop firms. You can get small accounts if you want, small accounts where you're not too concerned if you do lose the account. It could be a good experience to test out some small accounts, dip your toes in the water sort of thing. But if you're going to go for a large account, let's say, you definitely want to be confident with yourself before you do purchase that. If you purchase a small account like a 5K, which maybe doesn't mean too much to you, you can test that out, test the waters, see where you're at in terms of mentally. But any kind of big accounts which you want to go for, you want to be confident with yourself first. No problem. Happy to help. Style of trading finds, or you work towards which you prefer. In terms of style of trading, I pretty much focus on pullbacks. So the style is trading pullbacks. I trade different types of pullbacks as well, but the idea is that I'm looking for the market to continue in direction. So I want to buy it at a discount, and then hopefully the market does continue in my predetermined direction. So the style of trading is finding pullbacks, and the idea is trying to get into the market later than everyone else. I want to get into the market after people are kind of unsure, is this a pullback or is this a reversal? That's when I want to get into the market because that's where the value is. But yeah, pullbacks I would say is my kind of style. Yusuf, good morning. I hope you're well. No problem, Dimar. Happy to help. No problem, man. No problem. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. If I have missed out a pair for someone, let me know. I feel like I have. I have no idea which one it will be. Thoughts on Euro, UJ, GJ on the 15. Okay, just hit me with 4 pairs there, Yusuf, but we can take a look. No problem. Okay. Euro USD 15. So, yeah, very bearish yesterday, weren't we? Very bearish after CPI. Let's just start fresh. So I'm liking this now. This is what I was speaking to you about yesterday. I said the market is looking extremely corrective here. Every time we are sweeping the lows, we're just shooting directly to the upside. So it's not something which I want to be looking to sell because it's a very corrective market. It's not something I want to be buying either because we're still bearish. We're still very consistent with the lower highs. So if I'm going to buy Euro USD, I need us to break structure, then I can look for some pullback. So I didn't want to sell because we are corrective. I didn't want to buy because there's no bullish structure. I said, if I am going to look to sell this, price does need to show me signs of more momentum. That's the only way I look to sell this because we're very flat right now, and this is arguably just a range. So if we are going to continue this trend, and if the market is going to continue to fall, I do need to see some momentum, newfound momentum. Something like we had here, really strong down moves. And this is perfectly it, really. This is, if I could show you an example yesterday of what I was wanting to see, we've just seen it here perfectly. And of course, CPI played a big role in that. But very nice move to the downside, really showing us that, okay, we were corrected. We were just behaving very, very sideways. But now the trend is back alive again. Now the bears are very much in control. Now I would like to take some shorts. And we've got, of course, a lovely range over here, which if price will be kind enough to come back and retest, I think that's a very smart place to short and continue the trend because there's life back in the market now. We're seeing momentum. It actually looks healthy again. So, yeah, Euro USD to the downside looks really good. Yes, the large trend is still kind of bullish, but we've got a very consistent bearish trend here with some newfound momentum, which I do think is likely to continue. And when I look at this from a 4-hour perspective, we've just gone to smash through a nice counter trend line here as well. So to me, everything looks pretty bearish here on the 15. We've got some evidence of that on the 4-hour chart as well with the break of that counter trend line. And if the market would be kind enough to retrace and retest that area, I think that's a very sensible place for a short. In terms of GU next. So in terms of pound USD, let me just start fresh as well. So pound USD, I wouldn't take some shorts. I know we had some momentum here as well and things look good, but context also matters as well. Where are we trading? If you look to the left, we are trading in a really big area of demand support, which started this colossal move to the upside. So despite the lovely bearish trend we've had, despite the last lovely bearish move we had there as well, because of where we're trading, I would not be looking to short the market. I think number one, the market's quite stretched here. We've been heading to the downside for quite some time, and number two, of course, we're testing a really big area of demand here. So I still think we can head lower, but it's not an opportunity which I like to short. I would keep an eye on some counter trend buys. I think that could be a smart way to go. If we could see some higher lows form, maybe somewhat of like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, that could look good. And if that doesn't form, if we do get a bigger pullback though, then I'll be interested with some sells later on, because at that point, at least we've had a bit of relief in the market. Maybe we're coming back to test some structure. We're not trading directly into areas of support and demand anymore. And then maybe some break and retest look good along the way. And this will be a much better trade because I know the market's had that breather. Now potentially could see a fresh bearish leg come into the market. And we're not trading into any trouble right now. So pound USD, there might be some nice counter trend moves to take advantage of on a reversal. And in terms of pro trend, I do want to see a bigger pullback anyway. And then we can talk about some shorts later onwards, maybe after retest of a nice area. But pound's not positioned well for a sell right now at all in terms of where we're coming into. Euro looks a lot better in terms of where we are and where we're positioned. Okay. Yeah, swing trading it will be my style then. look to swing trade. So yeah, I guess that will be my style. In terms of dollar yen, of course, very bullish, lovely breakout with this one. We cleared the highs here like they weren't even there. I was talking about some pullbacks yesterday for dollar yen. Excuse me. Some pullbacks yesterday for dollar yen. I was talking about this area. Nice consolidation, nice break to the upside. Price was moving sideways. Said it would be nice if you can push down one more time and then get the run. But no, dollar yen was way too bullish for that. So because of where we're trading, we're taking out some major highs here. Would I still want to keep buying dollar yen in the 15? Yes, but I'll be cautious. The reason why I say yes is because I really like this momentum. The trend is still very, very healthy. But I'm well aware that we're taking out some major structure to our left, so that could mean a bigger pullback is on the cards. But to be honest, I would want for a bigger pullback anyway, because I wouldn't want to buy probably until I see a retest of this area here anyway. Lovely consolidation. That's where all the momentum came from. I think this will look like a very nice area for a buy. It looks like we are corrective at the moment. Maybe we do form a bit of a support here and see a push back up, but I wouldn't be looking for anything too spectacular. A push back into resistance might be the best bet here with dollar yen. Because again, we've just taken out major structure. We're quite stretched. We've been bullish for quite a while now since the low here. So I wouldn't want to keep buying something that's already been bullish for a while. Especially on an intraday level, you want to be short and sweet. Not trying to overstay your welcome. So I like this area here. I think you can probably catch a more meaningful swing here, because you would have had a bigger pullback anyway, coming back into a very significant area of demand there, which of course kickstarted that bullish move. I think you can probably find some aggressive buys at the lows here. But that would be the better opportunity for me. But yeah, dollar yen, I would still be bullish. Market still giving us consistent high highs and high lows. I do think we can see another swing to the upside. And in terms of GJ, I haven't actually looked at GJ today. So GJ, we did get that bullish swing. I was talking about the retest of this area last week. We did get it. Was that end of last week or yeah, on Monday? Then I believe we were trading around here. I did talk about some shorts here potentially, but didn't really see much of a reaction, to be honest. We had a slight bearish candle. Market broke structure, took up the highs there, closed above that. And yeah, that put an end to that bearish bias. Now things are looking a lot bullish. It looks like we probably will see a push back to the high here. But again, we are coming into major resistance, so we have to be very, very careful. Look to our left, where price is trading. This is major resistance on the daily chart. So although on the 50-minute chart things still look very, very bullish, this might be a nice area of support to take a buy from. But as soon as you push back into that resistance, again, being very cautious. Yes, we might break through, but we could easily reject that and come back down again. So if I do get into a buy there, I'm looking to probably exit everything or leave a little bit to trail to see if maybe we do catch the breakout. But one thing's for certain, I'm definitely moving my stop loss to break even, removing risk there. So GJ is still very bullish. I'm still seeing a very consistent uptrend. So I like the buys in general. I do think we're actually likely to break resistance here, but I wouldn't want to bet on that on the 15. I'd rather wait for us to actually break the level and then look for opportunities above the level for some continuation. So GJ, I'll be very careful with. There's a big level above us here, and that can cause a lot of noise. Where was I? Timothy, okay, Aussie dollar we'll take a look at next. Yusuf. News did my level in euro and UJ dirty broken the level. Look back. Yeah, that's news for you, of course. Especially on the lower time frames, be careful because you're going to have tighter stop losses naturally. You're going to have a larger lot sizes naturally as well. So you want to be very, very careful with that because The luxury of the higher time frames is I can stomach some bigger news events because, again, my lot size relative to to my stop loss size is going to be a lot smaller because of the wider stops. Naturally, I'm going to have a smaller stop loss, a smaller lot size for every given risk, and that protects me a little bit during high impact news. But on the lower time frames, you're naturally going to have a higher stop loss, a larger stop loss, because of course, if your stop loss is 10 pips, it's not going to be the same as your lot size if it's 100 pips. And of course, because I keep getting my words mixed up, because your stop loss is 10 pips as well, it means that smaller moves have a bigger impact on you. And things can change very quickly. So be careful when you are trading through those events. Of course, in terms of support resistance, that's going to affect everyone. Your CPI can definitely affect levels on the lower time frames and very much the higher time frames as well. So that's always going to be a situation with news, which is a good thing because it provides momentum in the market, which as a retail trader, especially for me who looks to trade pullbacks, I'm always looking to follow momentum. So if news creates momentum, normally it creates opportunities. Just like what we've seen with the dollar, we're starting to see some strength now. That's starting to create some opportunities now for pound USD for me. So it's actually a positive thing most of the time, as long as it doesn't burn you up, of course. Dexter, how many accounts have you blown on Crusade with 35 pro accounts before getting profitable? I actually haven't blown it. I've lost big amounts of an account before. I've actually never blown an account completely. And that's purely because of my kind of risk appetite. I'm not a very risky person naturally. Even right at the start of my trading journey, I've lost like 70-80% of account, which is pretty much blowing it, to be honest. But I've never like got a margin call, to be honest, which isn't because I'm just a magical person. It's just because naturally I'm always risking small accounts, small proportions of my accounts. And yeah, I just don't want to blow the account really. So I'm always keeping the risk very, very small. I've done that since the beginning, really. I've never really gone like 50% of my account or even 20%. Probably the most I've risked on a trade is like 10% maybe. And that's me going very risky. And of course that is risky, of course. But yeah, I've never actually lost an account completely. But yeah, I've lost 80. And again, the way I have lost 80% of account is by losing a lot over a long period of time. It's not like I just quickly lost 80% in a week. There's more so like a good 5 months of just bleeding, really. But yeah, then you've got some people who are very kind of happy to take risk on, and yeah, you could blow 35 accounts as well. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. I will go through Aussie dollar, Timothy, Angie. Can I just say you're very patient? Thank you, I appreciate it. I haven't come across another live streamer who, when requested, repeats a pair. They have already previously covered it. It's commendable. We appreciate it. No problem, Angie. Happy to help. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the streams, man. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the streams. And if you are, drop a like. It does go a long way. Subscribe to the channel as well. It does really help out. But I'll wrap things up with Aussie dollar. So with this one, I do like the shorts here, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get my opportunity, unfortunately. As I said, I like this area for a short, but I just don't see price getting there. I do think we're going to break to the downside. I'm pretty bullish on the dollar, so I do expect more strength in that department, and naturally I do think Aussie will break lower. Long term though, I am bullish, so I do like the idea of a big drop and possibly some big buys later on. Of course, this could be a trade idea maybe in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll wait and see. But I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity. It's an uptrend, just about, so a really corrective uptrend. So I wouldn't try and keep buying this. It's a trend which is running out of steam and looking very corrective. So for that reason, I'm staying away from buys. On the lower time frames, you probably get away with it. Short-term buys, take advantage of some of these smaller bounces you can see on the low time frames, but from a swing perspective, I wouldn't be looking for another big swing there for Aussie dollar. I think it's a bit of a reach, especially with how we're moving. So yeah, Aussie dollar expecting us to break lower. Not really seeing an opportunity to take advantage of that. This was the plan to take advantage of that. So unless maybe you try and short the breakout, which is an idea, it's not really a trading style which I look to take. But it's probably the best opportunity in terms of taking advantage of the breakout. But not my forte. No problem. Hey, appreciate it, Tishepo. Appreciate it. Thank you, CS Integrated. Yeah, make the like button bullish, people. Do you hold trade for a week or a month and let's hit your take profit? Yeah, I'll hold it for as long as I need to. I don't have a time limit on my hold time. It's unique to the position. Some positions I've been in which last 2 months potentially. Maybe I do get caught in a bit of a consolidation, so that takes its time. But yeah, there's no time limit for me, especially as a swing trader, because I'm not too concerned about holding overnight, holding over weekend. That's not really my concern. I naturally have bigger stop losses, so I can normally stomach it. Of course, as a day trader, you will be concerned about holding overnight. So the goal of a day trade is to be most of the time done within the same day. Maybe you might hold a position to run if things look good, but most of the time you're done within the same day. In my situation, I'm not really too concerned. It's more so I've got an expectation of where I expect the market to get to. As long as the market is behaving how I expect it to do, I will stay in the trade. If I'm getting some big red flags, I might close the trade early. But there's no time limit on my holding time. But anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. I will be live again tomorrow, as always. I'm live every weekday from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi. We'll chat about different markets, FX related indices, although I didn't actually look at any indices today. But again, if you want me to, let me know in the comments. But yeah, guys, really appreciate you tuning in. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and of course hit the bell as well. If you do want to check out the signal service with Zenthrix, a project we've launched recently, which is built around using AI to help develop trading tools and help improve, level the playing field between retail traders and institutional traders. So very, very exciting project, and I do think AI will play a big role in retail traders kind of trading journey in recent times. So do look out for that. But I do have the link to the signal group if you want to check it out. Again, you can test out some signals, take some ideas from it. It's up to you guys how you want to check it out. But it's free at the moment for the first 100 users. So if you're interested, head over and click the link. But guys, appreciate it coming on. I will be live again tomorrow, so I hope to see you all there. If not, be square. But till the next time, guys, have a good one.
Introducing Zenthrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.